this few minutes at the beginning, there will be still chance to enter new participants. I would like to welcome you because we have participants from other countries, from Kazan, for example, and Romania, a little bit how it is in Slovenia, just to break the ice of the webinar. Just a second, I must go on with the slides. So this is today's webinar. Some technical instructions. More or less, you already turn off the microphones and videos, and you can ask questions to Sebastjan, which will be the lecturer later on. And because the group is not so big, we will also ask you present yourself, or you can do that by using chat. So let us know where you are coming from, what is your subject of your work, so on, to know more on you. And later on, you can join the discussion, no problem. Just open the mic and that's it. So it's quite simple, not very official, because the aim is also to network, to know each other, to exchange the points of view in circular construction and so on. Please, if you can share meanwhile also the information of the webinar on social media using some of the hashtags which are here at the screen. I hope I'm sharing the right one, Andro, because I don't see the green circle around it.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, Slovenia, this is Ljubljana, the capital, green country. As you can see, hopefully we will be able to meet you in our country sometime in the future. But now we are again under the lockdown. All the schools are going digital today. So my son has simultaneously a school when I'm also having a webinar. So hopefully everything will be okay with the connection. This is Bled, our main attraction, tourist one. These slides were done for Indian partners which were attending the previous webinar. And they know Bled because they make movies here in Slovenia, in this location. And this is place near the Croatia. And you can see how much of forest we have in our country and water. We are alpine country. This is the highest Mount Triglav, and we can ski the same day, go to river rafting, or even go swimming in the sea, because our country is small. Or you're all welcome, of course, when the borders will be open again. And officially, this webinar is also part of our Smart Forensics app project and support of training of cluster managers, cluster members, and other stakeholders interested in circular economy and circular construction. And it's part of the International Circular Construction Cluster, which is initiative we started last year, which aim is to make construction more circular and also develop a circular market. And the webinars we are organizing are aiming to present the solutions already development which are ongoing, and this is the case for today webinar, and also connect different organization and experts, students, workers, managers who work in this area and can collaborate in the future. So that's why we are asking you to provide some information, who you are, where you are coming from, that we will be able to invite you for the next webinars and activities of this cluster. Currently, we are building the community of interesting stakeholders in this field. So you are welcome to support this initiative by signing the support statement. And hopefully later we can get together to the cluster and collaborate also in a similar project as will be presented in the next minutes by Sebastjan Meža. Sebastjan Meža is working in the Slovenian National Building and Civil Engineering Institute, ZAC, which is also the coordinator of CINDERELA Horizon 2020 project. He will tell us more about that. He is a senior researcher at the institute and expert in circular economy and advanced digital technologies, including BIM, building information modeling, and geographical information systems. And he was involved in different national and EU-funded projects. So this is the introduction. And now I'm inviting Mr. Sebastjan Meža to take the floor. Sebastjan, you can proceed now.
Just a second. Okay. So hopefully you can see my screen now.
Yeah, it works.
So I would also like to encourage you, at least some of you I see that wrote down where you're coming from, but is somebody willing to give a few words why you're here, why you're interested in circular economy? The first one I see on my screen is Lenar Kishmiel. Are you willing to kind of say where you're from, what are your interests? Because I really wouldn't like to make this a one-way conversation.
Yeah, hello everybody. I'm from Russia. I am student of Kazan State Architecture University. I don't have any production experience, and I just studying, and I'm glad to participate in this event.
Oh, it's really nice to hear that already students are being conscious about the environmental issues. So yeah, welcome. Maybe Tanya, can you give us a few words? Or somebody else? Eva, maybe?
Hello, so I'm PhD student in statistics, and I arrived here mostly driven by curiosity because I'm not really on the topic of circular economy business, but I'm very curious about it. And so now I'm just attending to meetings dealing with this subject. And that's it.
Okay. Thank you, Mais. Thank you very much. All the others can also write in chat. And as Vladimir said, please go ahead, raise your hand, pose questions, and hopefully I will be able to answer them. Now let's jump into the presentation. So today I'm going to present a project called CINDERELA, which is an EU Horizon 2020 funded project. We are looking into the possibilities, how to untap the potential of locally available secondary raw materials, and how can we make the construction process more sustainable? How can we use less virgin primary materials and use recycled materials accordingly? And one thing that is really important and that has to be stressed out, and I will come back to this matter on multiple occasions during my presentation, is that we have to make that we have to support our actions with solid circular economy business models. In order that the industry will follow our actions, our solutions have to be sustainable also from the business perspective. But why even bother doing the circular economy in construction? Here are some figures, some predictions, which we gathered before we even submitted the proposal. So construction sector is rising. The demand for the primary virgin materials is rising. The amount of sand, gravel, crushed rock that will be used according to the productions will more than double by 2060. So yes, the construction sector is definitely bears the potential for so that the secondary raw materials can be used. Here are some figures for the Europe. So the construction sector uses about half of all the materials that are being extracted from nature. It also uses half of the energy that is being consumed, and almost 1/3 of the water is also being used by construction activities. That is one side of the coin. And on the flip side of the coin, it also generates 1/3 of all waste produced in EU. So this is a huge challenge and also a huge opportunity that was identified by us. And this is why we joint efforts with industrial partners, with other research institutes across Europe, and we formed a consortium where we are trying to address the exposed issues. To give you a bit even more background about the project, we are mainly focusing on the material flows that are happening within urban and semi-urban areas, because while you are trying to recycle products, especially in construction, you have to take into account that you cannot transport the materials on large distances. So we are really focusing on the waste that is being generated in urban and peri-urban areas. Why we decided for that is because the amount of people, or the number of people, the percentage of people that is going to live in wards in the cities is expected to rise according to all the predictions. Now, to be more specific, what kind of materials are we talking about? Firstly, we are talking about construction and demolition waste. The second kind of group of materials we are trying to recycle is waste from industries. And third group of waste we are addressing is waste that is being produced in municipal services. I'm going to speak more about each individual type of materials a bit later on. But as already mentioned, our goal is how to turn this waste into valuable source for the secondary raw-based material construction products that are locally available, and how businesses can use these products. What can we produce from this waste? So if we use construction and demolition waste, we can produce maybe recycled aggregates for unbound layers, just to give you unbound load-bearing layers for the road construction. This is a material with lower added value. But if we use science, if we try to figure out how can we mix this material with some additives, we can make a material with higher added value. Maybe we can produce green concrete and other hydraulically bound construction materials. We also looked into the materials, as already mentioned, that are being generated by industry. These are various slags, various ashes. They tend to be a really good additive to produce green concrete. We are also looking into inert materials that are left over and that are currently being mainly landfilled or used for or burned. For example, heavy fraction or some sort of plastics, especially in Slovenia. We have quite some challenges with so-called grave candle lights. We are also looking how can we implement this sort of waste in the construction products. But yes, let us start at the beginning. It is really important to do the laboratory test because we have to be certain that these materials are at least as durable as the ones that are produced from the natural aggregates, that the materials are safe to be used from the environmental point of view. And once again, I stress they have to be economically viable. We have to make sure that we do not do the circular economy just for the sake of circular economy. We have to have data that proves that this is a valuable action. How we are aiming to do this? We are focusing on two fields. I've already mentioned the business models. We are developing, the business model we are developing is called the CinderCEBM. And this is a part of a one-stop shop, which we are also developing. The one-stop shop is called the CinderOSS, which is an IT solution where we try to present all the information that some businesses need if they want to start with more circular business models. Yes, coming back to the environmental sustainability. During the course of the project, we are performing the LCA studies, LCC studies, and social LCA studies. So life cycle analysis, life cycle cost analysis, and social life cycle analysis. It is important to highlight the use of secondary raw materials from our perspective. So yeah, this is an important aspect of the project. Now I'm mainly listing what we are doing, but later on I'm going to give you some more examples how we've already managed to do so. So what are the key benefits? What we are aiming to achieve? We are trying to create new business opportunities. We are trying to provide evidence-based knowledge, not to make assumptions on literature review, but CINDERELA is a large-scale demonstration project where actually the real construction projects are being built, as you will see later on, where we demonstrate in a real environment that our solutions are valuable. And last but not least, we really try to motivate all the stakeholders to consider going more circular, because this has positive impacts both locally and on a regional level. This is my final introductory slide. So here are just some facts about CINDERELA. As mentioned, it's an EU-funded Horizon 2020 project. the overall budget is somewhere above 7.5 million euros. Slovenian National Building and Civil Engineering Institute is a coordinator of project, but we have partners from Italy, from Serbia. We have two partners from Spain. We also have some partners from the Netherlands. We have partners from North Macedonia. We have partners from Poland. So yeah, I can say that we are equally distributed along Europe, or at least to say that we have representatives from each region, so we can compare the state of the circularity among the member states. As this was my last introductory slide, are there any questions maybe at this point? Would somebody like to add something, or should I proceed? Maybe Vladimir, do you have some comments how you were involved in this project so far, and what do you think about the project before I move on to the second part of the presentation?
Yes, I think it's really important project, because, as I said at the beginning, it's very important that the message that things are going on and it's possible and economically viable also are very important. And when I was at the meeting in Amsterdam, it was very nice to see these demonstration activities and actual implementation of circular construction in this demo building in Amsterdam. So it can be done, and that's the key message. But it needs quite some effort and on the development, but also in convincing probably the investors and other actors. And all these webinars and your work, I think it's very valuable. So
okay,
this is
so
my
thank you for your kind words, and this will also be one of the messages that I want you to take home. Yes, we are at the beginning, so some of the countries are well ahead of us. This is what I am noticing, not only within the project CINDERELA, but also in some other projects I'm involved with. The Netherlands, it's a really nice example where they are really taking the advantage of circular economy potential at its full. So now go